select my inspector's name, and the report with the result is passed. So I can print out all this information. Then you can select as this. When sometimes we do not want to see this information, but based on the PO number or etc., you can see we have a long list. Here's the tips. If you search information and navigate in the platform on your computer, your keyboard Control plus F, it will bring out a quick search bar for you to quickly filter out information. So for example, I want to check my approval status. So this is one for searching on the page. If I enter, there's also another one quickly able to bring me right on the one match my search. Okay, so if I want to search my different kind of approval status in here, with this Control plus F will quickly help us to the area. Some of the members might also like to use inspection number or the group number. So where's the inspection number come from? Whenever the member scheduled a booking towards to either of the orders or our PO lines, the inspection number in Pivot ATA, you can take it as a unique series number, and this number is automatically generated in Pivot platform, and it's a unique cross platform. So sometimes when we like to communicate internally to ask supervisor or ask our manager to double check with our report, either we can tell them the PO number or more details, or you can simply give him or give her an inspection number, so he or she can just directly search this information as it is a unique code in Pivot platform. So that says after we have filtered different kind of information. Let's say in here. Today, as Sani, I like to focusing on my own inspection, even though I have access to all my factories, my peers' report data regarding our suppliers or factories' performance, but I like to check my own when I start work. So I apply the filter. So once I do that, you can see the inspection error book, it will be directly filtered out. And here's another tips can help us to improve our efficiency in the future. So once you filter out your name or different kind of criteria, for example, you follow a specific style or you follow a specific destination orders, then you can also filter this information and save it as your bookmark. So in here, I will say this is my inspection. I can save this as my default and save it. So how would that work? Remember before we set our home page as manage inspection. So when I log into the platform, the system will directly bring me to manage inspection. With the filter I just save as default, it will override my previous 2 weeks and always directly bring me to this page whenever I log in the first time. So you can start your job immediately by focusing on your priority. Okay, so that's how the filter works, and you're able to save as many filters as you wish. And after a certain priority switch, you can simply click open the top right corner to manage your filters, to delete that, recycle that, or adjust that. So to access all the filters that you ever saved before, so let me try to do another one. So for example, like our manager, sometimes we will also need to do for the pending approval. Okay, so in this case, I want to set another filter as my pending approval, so I won't miss anything whenever the status are available. Okay, so now I save 2 different filters. So let's reset the filter and take a look, where is this information stored? You simply need to open the filters again, And on your right-hand side, now you're able to see my save filters. This will only happen once you start into saving your list. So in here, I have my inspection or my pending approval. I can go to the pending approval and information will be automatically applied and give me overall status and how many things I need to do. You can also use this practice method to start to build your own filters in here. Okay, so now let's move on to the second columns. Columns, for example, like what we see here, inspection number, inspector, who do what, in what kind of PO information, etc., etc. But you can also see the page is very long. Sometimes I want to make it clean just because my priority and my focus point is different with the other members. Then in this case, I can open my columns. And this specific setting will be your own preference. You don't need to do that every time, but every time when you do the setting on this page, it will say that whenever you log in. So for example, like before, I do not want to see the defect on the first page because my priority is different. I can simply hide them. I want to see the PODD, and so I can just activate it, or my style, or my LO. So activate those columns, and I save it. So you can see that once I save this information, the field will be available inside your page, and then you simply just on the same area. You can also continue to tidy up. So remember, whenever you saw the information, if it's not available in the first view, please double check in the columns to see if your attention, if it's already activated or not. So that is important part. So for now, I don't see the data available in the training part, so I can hide this for now and save it. There is another feature regarding the columns. So we mentioned here all the columns names, and you can see once I move my mouse on top of the column names, a hand gesture comes out. This will indicate a function is available once we click. So let's click it. You can see once I click it, the system automatically sort the information. If it's based on time or date, it will help us to display the information from the earliest to the latest, or from the most recent data to the history one. If we have the PO number and we want to base on certain sequence, you can also apply this kind of information. Most of the time, I understand that some of the member will priority based on their ETD. So you might also able to do this information by one click and to sort the information to understand which orders need to do as soon as possible based on the ETD. You might also reset the orders once you finish this searching. So I was using a date or a time information as example. So when we sort the other columns or the other information with names, it will based on the alphabetic A to Z, C to A, etc., etc. So to reset the order, simply just click in here. This order, the system default order is based on our inspection creation. So that says this 439 is the latest booking that been done. So this will be on top for me because I can see all the information. When you log in, when our supplier log in, your account will always and only able to see your own factory's information, which is totally normal. And for our Adidas member, you will have the right to review all suppliers' information. So your account also have a different view with any other suppliers, and which is completely normal. Here's another part we call show as group. So this one will only understand as a reference for now. What is called show as group? So for example, like this one, we have one PO, and remember our SKU number is the combination of our article plus size information. So in Pivot, we break them down into different PO lines So we're able to understand each size, each article and sizes, quantity, and the detailed information, right? So, but when we schedule inspection, each of the inspection is one order, one inspection. Even though the system automatic give us an extra number, but then this is within one report. And that is why it shows as group, because in here, it will show per how many reports it will be available in the platform. Okay, let's move on to the next part. In all those columns, sometimes you have, I know that some members have different kind of preference. If sometimes after the information filter out, you still want to see more information, you can also select how many records per page to display. So this is more like simple tools to use. Okay, on the right-hand side, actions. In these actions, based on different user role that your account in, you might able to recycle the inspection, or you might able to edit the inspection details. For example, like we mentioned earlier, our supply planner manager able to edit, almost everybody able to edit the inspection details for like when we schedule the booking to inspector A, if member A currently is not available, you want to switch to another member, then we can use the inspection details to continue. View this member, okay. And for the others, if you don't see many logo like this, which is completely normal, based on your user role. If you want to track all the history data, again, you're able to, whenever we move the mouse on top of the hover over the icon, you will see a small label to indicate what is the actions behind that. So later we will take a close look at how to view all this information when we have enough time. So now, if we have some of the members as our supplier planner, in here, you have one called calendar. So if you click open the calendar, you were able to have the visibility based on this month's, how many activities in which days, and your inspector. You can also filter your inspector or in which day. Sometimes our Adidas member, you would like to isolate in which project that you like to focusing on. So you're also able to filter this information as well. For all these data, different color indicate different kind of inspector. The color is random, but one inspector will always in one color. When we move the mouse on top of the label, you will have another summary available to help you quickly understand what is the task that related to. You can also switch the view for week or list or day, similar to our email calendar as well. Okay, so now let's take a close look for how to complete based on our workflow. Remember we mentioned about the workflow as to booking inspection before we start to running on the application. So now let's go on to the first step. To book an inspection, we usually start either on our PO line page or PO page. As our Adidas standard, one PO, one report. So let's take a close look on our POs. So now, as you can see, because I save my training project as my default filter in this page, when I select my page in here, it's automatically applied to me. So all this data is related to training. We mentioned earlier, the project terminology in Pivot ATA is related to our division. But in our platform today, we had 6 projects. It's just because we like to separate the training data with our official production data. Okay, so I will do a random booking based on the criteria as well, of who's on top. And let's take a close look. So I can book this information in here. Remember, this is on our PO page. You might filter out the specific orders that you're looking for. If you cannot find any of the information like the style or specific information you're looking for is not visible in this view, remember to open our columns to activate the information you're looking for. Like for example, like skill name, description, or sciences information, it will be available for you. So let's say I filter out the information. I found this 9531 POs that I want to inspect. I simply select this one and go to book inspection. We had two features in here. One is regular booking, one is calendar booking. If you are a planner, you would like to go to calendar booking. This will bring you to the previous calendar page, will give you the visibility within your factory or within your supplier groups. Who will be available to do this inspection or for when they were available to complete that inspection. But if our inspector, we already in the factory and we understand this order is ready, it's already packed, I would like to start the inspection because I schedule my own anyway. It's all your task. So you can just go straight into the regular booking. So I will do the regular booking in here. You can see once we log in, the booking details has different information. These steps we also demonstrated in the workshop 3 before, so you can take it as a refresh steps. What we need to book this inspection to complete the step, the minimum required is to select who will do this task, by when they will need to do that, what type of report time. The good thing for us is today with the practice, we directly set the system default for today and this timing. The time you might not need to pay attention because it really based on your user account's time zone setting. For the report time, today we're only gonna roll out for our AQL outbound. Footwear apparel, you only have one report available, so it will be automatically available here. For our A&G members, once you log in, you will see, because my account and in PVTA, so I can see all the information. For A&G members, once you log in, you will, once you're doing this step, you will have 3 report times available for you to select. So please select the corresponding product category. So because once you change that, your sample size will be switched as well. Later on, we will also show a demonstration a little bit on this part. Okay, so with the integration data from Adidas system, you already have our factory names, details, and also the location. You don't need to introduce information as well because they are not mandatory. So let's say the only mandatory is to select who will do that kind of task. So once I do that, because I entered quickly, and then my information will be automatically saved for me and the inspection will be directly done. But let's take a look for A&G since we had different kind of report. Okay, so for example, the 4716 is the one I'm gonna schedule. I like to schedule that one and go straight into booking. So in here, you can see that I have official matchable. I also have balls and bags. And because of my account, I can see all of them. But for our supplier, you should be able to see these 3. For our Adidas members, you will only see these 3. And for me, I see all of them. Okay, so right now we're in the official match board, which is 100% inspection and the level already been defined. If I select different bags and balls, you can see my inspection level automatically update. In my account, I had the right to override, but in your account, this information already preset. So we don't need to worry about different kind of inspection level as long as we select the correct report time. We also have the options to leave in a certain information for us. I understand some of our suppliers, or maybe majority of our suppliers, always release the shipment 2 times a week. So maybe 15 and 30 for one cargo going. So that says you can also do this planning, this booking steps way ahead. It doesn't really matter for when you're going to do that. And the scheduled inspection day, it will not limit or restrict us to complete the inspection before or after the date. So you don't need to worry about to need to reschedule just because you passed the day. No need. This will be only the reference for you to for the better planning. For sometimes when we do a batch planning, when we're sitting in the office, we have all the material in front of us, we understand this particular order or this particular style has feedback before from our DC or from our distribution center or different area or our store. Okay, so I said I need to pay attention on this one in this particular area. So you can leave the comments when you do the planning. You might also see the size in here has a little bit different, 3 or 3 dash. The dash is only mean half size in Adidas server and also in PVTA right now, which is the 3.5 or this is 3.5. Okay, so I will also save this one for my own and enter. Yeah. So now that's A&G and our footwear booking already done. For our apparel, I will still go through the process just because we have different information. So for apparel team, when we select or when we perform our inspection, you can see one thing is special. For our inspection level, this is custom. Apparel team has custom sampling level based on the Adidas standard. So all this logic already been defined within the project and within the report types. So for this case, we will recommend that you continue after the training to try the system as much as possible based on our UAT guideline. Okay, so this is also another one in here. I will save it for myself and done. So now the second step is to complete inspection. Remember we mentioned earlier we had different kind of tools in Pivot. One is the platform, and this is the platform we're looking at, which is where I consolidate all the information, have all the data available and the actions. But the second part is our PVAT application. Application is a tool to help our inspector and our auditor to collect the information on the first time. So to download this application, if you are using Android device, you will need to log into the Adidas.pvat platform, go to Resource tab and click Downloads. And this download page will allow our Android user to download the installation package. Because our Android market has a lot of different kind of Google store, Samsung store, different brands has different store as well. In order to make sure all our users has the latest and greatest one and not confused by any other stores, Android user, this is only place you're able to download the application. In the other hand, for our Apple user, iOS user,